Hey guys, it's me, EODGamer here, and so 1.1 has been out for a while now. Now we have both Jane as well as Qingyi totally out. And this is of course the popular site that you guys really love, Pridewin. I want to give some commentary and some value add as well, because I do see a lot of things that maybe are good, but some things that might mislead people as well. So I just want to clarify, and I also will be sharing with you my own personal tier list. So over here, we have a new Jane Doe that they added to the list, and they finally buffed Nicole up to tier 0, their highest tier over here. They took them like almost 1.5 months to decide that Nicole was very good, because their rationale was she works well with Zhu Yuan. Zhu Yuan was released 6 weeks ago, 6 to like 7 weeks ago. So it did take quite a while for them to actually understand the game properly. But it is what it is. Note that their characters here are all ranked based on M0, so it's a bit of a limiting factor as well that we will talk about. So let's talk about tier list. We'll start from T0. Ellen, Zhu Yuan, and Jane Doe. Tier 0, okay, I agree. I definitely agree that all these three are really strong. If you pick up one of these three DPS, you probably are able to handle content very nicely as well. They are all super good. They have their nuances, like which one is better here and there, but we are not going to debate that in this video. They are all currently as like a core category. So I agree with the tier list. T0 all at definitely at number 1. For these other characters over here, the tricky part is, what is the definition of T0? If you're talking about great characters in the right teams, yes, I think all 4 of these characters do meet the requirement to be like the one of the best in the game currently at T0. The question then is, if you do not have Ellen, you don't even play Ice, is Sokaku still at T0? I don't really know about that. Like, if it's misleading if like someone just joins the game, doesn't have Ice DPS, they pick up Jane Doe, and then they look at this tier list and they're, oh, I'm going to pick up Lycan, I'm going to play Sokaku together with my Jane Doe in a full T0 team. So I don't really like this format because it doesn't really factor in that characters need to be played with the respective DPS. Characters that don't really care, Qingyi, I would say Qingyi is super flexible, so she deserves T0 for sure. Characters like Nicole deserves T0, quite flexible as well. I play my Nicole together with Jane Doe and I get a great performance with her. So these two I agree, T0, whereas Lycan and Sokaku are conditional tier 0s. If you do not have Ice, I feel like Lycan goes down, and we will do our revised tier list in a bit. Let me just like comment on some of the spots and also some common misconceptions. The next thing that I see here that I don't really like too much is Seth is higher than both Lucy and Rina together. This doesn't really make too much sense to me. I think that the person who made this list probably just thinks, oh, because Jane Doe is about, Seth works really well with Jane Doe, so let's just slot them in tier 0.5. But one of the important things to note is that when Jane Doe came about, her teams actually expanded, because now you can play a shock with her, with a character like Rina. So a lot of people are actually finding Rina very, very nice working with Jane Doe, because she provides that pen ratio also to buff your Jane Doe up, and also be one of the shock appliers on the side, extends the duration of shock, making it much more easier to proc your assault. So for the people that actually play the game, play Jane Doe, and actually tested her out quite a bit, I would say like Rina is higher up on the list, probably like on par with a character like Seth. Not tier 1 because she is still niche, but she actually can fit into like a same team. So not factored in. Lucy being so low, maybe you could argue that because it's M0, there are no fire DPS in the game, but being lower than Seth is a little bit of a question mark to me. I am not sure about that. I'll do my tier list in a bit too. But Collider here at T0.5, given like the stun relevance, I agree. Grace 0.5, I agree as well. I think Grace is super strong. M0 Piper, okay, maybe not as good as Grace. And M0 of Soldier 11 Nekomata, probably I will agree here. Nekomata probably fell a little bit as well because of Jane Doe's appearance in the game. Other than that, not too much that I disagree with at M0, just like the base copy. Ben struggles to find its relevance. Okay, for Anton, I think even at M0, now the second half in Shi defense is actually pretty decent. A lot of people are actually clearing Shi defense at second half with him. So I will actually raise Anton up because of the current game state. And this tier list here, they only have M0. There's no toggle to have M6, so they obviously haven't factored that in. But let's talk in terms of now. I want to do like my own tier list over here real quick. I have different categories here that I sorted out. So like I just did the names differently because I don't want to use like the same naming. But let's talk about A ranks in terms of M6 and S ranks at M0, so or thereabouts in between. For hard carry kind of team compositions, I would say without a doubt, if you're looking for like the best DPSs in the game, and no order, I'm not ranking them in any order, so you can really put like either one, you can put like whoever. it's really more or less whatever playstyle that you like. These three are definitely at the top of the game currently. That is my personal opinion. So let me just put here, not out yet, not out yet, not out yet. These three are definitely not out yet from the tier list. These three units here, definitely probably S tier. The question then becomes like, who else fits into the S tier? My category of like the super strong characters in the game probably are units that will benefit any account. Doesn't matter whether you have Zhu Yuan, doesn't matter if you have Ellen or Nicole, these units will benefit your account. So if a person that hasn't played the game looks at this list and they pick the priority based on the highest tier and then going down to the lowest tier to build, they will be fine. So my recommendation will be generic characters like Nicole at M6, definitely I think is really strong. Qingyi at, of course, S rank is M0. So something like that, this will be my tier list for hard carry in the top slot. Now where it becomes like conditional, and where I want to say is conditional, probably be Sokaku and probably will be Lycan. These two are conditional because you need Ellen. So a person that is watching this list, so I mean just put like a star here, so you need to like listen to the commentary. If you have Ellen, yes, they both go up. But if you do not have Ellen and you're watching this list, these two are still okay, but they do really want to like play a little bit more in ice teams. Sokaku still has a very long uptime on the buff, very good on-field time, can swap in, assist, able to use a lot of support gear, but her main kit is like buffing ice damage. With M2 or a couple of Mindscape, she also can increase like I think ice damage and reduce enemy ice resistance and stuff. Lycan can also reduce enemies ice resistance. He is one of the best stun characters in the game right now, probably better than Colada, but still he outperforms and is significantly like super good at the first tier over here. So I'll put Lycan as a good tier together with Sokaku. Conditional if you have Ellen. The next characters that I think is more easier to talk about is I want to talk about these three over here, the Billy, Anton, and Corinne. A lot of people are actually saying, oh, you already have so many other DPSs here, they are super good, just use them. These three are actually really, really strong, especially if you have them at M6. My thought process is it depends on the meta. If you need electric main DPS, Anton is actually super strong. In the second half of Shui defense right now, in the node, he is incredibly strong. I even considering like building him if I didn't have limited DPSs. A lot of people are clearing full clears with Anton as the main DPS. You can definitely consider if you're struggling a little bit as well. I will rate Anton as good currently in the meta. For physical, I'll rate them as usable now at M6. I think they are really strong. Mainly is because you compete highly with a character, for example like Jane Doe. So Anton is outperforming because of meta state. Corinne and Billy are competing with Jane Doe, which Jane Doe offers a lot more outperformance. So I don't want to put them in like good tier. Then you might like mislead people who pull for Jane Doe to think that these two are also really strong. So go for whatever unit that you want. But these two are definitely very usable as well as DPSs. You can just check out like any of the mains guides or servers and whatnot. You can find people that really love these characters, A ranks as well, and they have a lot of good recommendations for you. I've seen a lot of their information and it's very, very impressive. So don't look down on A ranks. That's my long story short. Other characters. I think niche character is probably Ben. He's one of the ones that I'm clearly like woke. I'm very obvious that he's going to be in a niche category. Doesn't really have too much use. A character like Seth actually outperforms him very, very significantly. Offers a lot of like shielding that he does some electric damage as well, does a little bit of damage. Skills with attack, so isn't that chunky, but it's still fine. Provides a lot of anomaly proficiency, which helps buff even other DPSs on your team that doesn't really care too much about proficiency, doesn't mind the additional proficiency stat. So I'll say like M6 Seth definitely in this like tier as like super, super good as well. Other units that I want to talk about, and this is of course M6 A ranks, M0 S ranks. Grace probably I'll put somewhere in here. Grace is very strong in anomaly teams. Even if you do not run with Jane Doe, you can run her together with Irina Grace combo of double electric. You can run Seth Grace combo also works, and then your last slot could be very flexible. You might say like maybe she's usable now here, but for the sake that she offers very little field time, like super little field time, she gives a lot of flexibility to the on-field DPS to do a little bit more as well. I really like that about Grace. It's one of the like lowest field times out of all characters in the game. For Unbi, I think at M6 she's usable since the number of stun characters that we have is like so little right now. I'll probably put her as a usable category, but the more stun that comes out, probably she'll eventually go down, making her way into a less niche. Every character has its use currently in the game. Eventually, there'll be a new category that says like totally boxed out of meta many other units better. But she's a free unit. At M6, she does good damage as well. I would say she's still usable, but definitely behind Corrin and BD by quite a bit, but above Ben. So there might be like a middle tier in between that I could have added. But for whoever is listening to this video, you'll get more value out of it. For Nekomata and Soldier 11, I think they both fit in the usable category. Right now, there is a clear distinction, especially with the other main DPSs. If you have a limited DPS and you compare them with Nekomata and Soldier 11, apple to apple, you can feel that there is at least a 2-tier gap between them. And at times, even using a M6 A rank does feel on par with a S rank for these two right now. Physical character like Nekomata suffering from the impact of Jane Doe, and I would rate them fairly even across an M6 A rank together with like an M0 S rank. Soldier 11 right now, I'll leave it as M0 S rank just for my opinion, at least how the game works. Fire is like not super meta yet, but maybe when Bernice comes out, it could change things. We'll have to wait and see. Colada, usable, definitely. I would say she is still 1 tier below Lycan. She is slightly weaker in my opinion, especially since Lycan plays into like some meta teams, and Lycan has very, very nice flexibility, good stun, good mobility also, and has good like, he can push enemies with his kicks slowly over time, group them together. So Lycan does have some sort of grouping mechanics. Colada is a little bit more clunky, but still very, very strong. We don't have too many stun units in the game. Lucy at M6, whew, this is tough. I am tempted to put her in good, because she is still a very, very strong support, and supports are like super, super strong right now. Given that Sons of Cauldron are not out, meaning that in order to get the most use out of Lucy, you need to play her in a fire team, or you need to play her in anomaly team with Piper. It's a bit tricky to get her full value. So I am tempted to put her in this category over here, usable, but it can really go either way. I'm either one. I also want to know your thoughts in the comment section below, and maybe we can share with you a community review of what you guys think too. Maybe I'll put her in usable. Let me know your thoughts, whether you think she deserves to be good. I'm torn like half-half, because Sons of Cauldron's out next patch, so maybe we can adjust it next patch as well. Last two characters here, we have Piper. Piper at M6 I think is really strong, especially since Anomaly now got a massive buff also in the shield defense. Definitely worth investing if you have her at M6. She is really, really very, very strong for Anomaly proxy for like Jane Doe. They do play like kind of similar, where they take up like some field time. You need to count the gauges and slowly build up the stacks. But I think she's really, really strong. I like her quite a lot. Last but not least, Rena. Rena, some people will say like niche, some people will say it's usable, but I actually think that now she's actually pretty strong. Very underrated because people haven't explored this character too much. She is a late game character that gets better over time. We talked about that on the channel, as we do with all our guide videos. Jane Doe actually boosts the performance of Rena, because now you have a character that can make use of shock anomaly, whether you play Rena together with Seth, whether you play Rena together with a character like Grace, Rena with Unbi, or Rena with Anton. You have many, many ways to have like a double electric now together with like another character on your team. You can even play like Rena Ting Yi. So that amount of shock extension helps a lot in team compositions that doesn't really apply shock frequently also. So you get that flexibility. You get the pen ratio, which is universal whether you're buffing main crit DPS or whether you're buffing anomaly DPS. So she is definitely slept on, definitely underrated. If you play the game a little bit more and you try different team compositions, you won't feel Rena's value. And that's what we do on this channel. We try to do as many comps as we can. Check out the other videos on this channel and let me know your guys' thoughts as well in the comments. Tier list, of course, is always subjective. No one will agree on a universal tier list, but I hope I did it justice, and thank you guys again so much for watching. See you in the next video.